This week's update is gonna be a little bit special. As mentioned in our last video, we had a party to prepare. This was not any ordinary party, it was our 2-year anniversary party. And we want to take this moment in the video to recap a little bit the last year. It's not gonna be a full year review of the market garden and what we harvested, just a short review of what we have accomplished in the last year. The preparation for our 2-year anniversary party were like always not possible without a lot of helpers who gave us a hand. May it be by putting up the tent, which protected us more from the sun than from the rain, or by setting up and arranging our acoustic carpet stage. And of course, that amount of helpers want to be fed. Not just them, but also our guests, which later on joined us on the party. And we were very pleased that all vegetables which we have been used, beside of the beans, came from our own vegetable garden. Which required, as you already see it, a lot of helping hands again to wash them and cut them into the slices we needed. And we were very happy to have a deco team dedicated this year for just creating wonderful shields for better orientation. As you already have seen that Kata started creating our disco ball in the last video, we've finished it up, and here you can see the result, being hung up in our workshop disco. And after putting all the stuff up, we were ready to party. And now to the recap of what had happened on our market garden in the last year. In October of last year, we started to lay out the new beds which we wanted to cultivate this year. This included plowing the earth, where we had great help of our neighbor once again. But first we had to establish a perimeter where we wanted which beds and which parcel this year, so that we could measure the pathways in between, the actual width of them, and the numbers that we needed. After the plowing was done and the frost left the earth, that we could turn it with our smaller rotary tiller, Kata put all the sticks into the ground so that we see a pathway is supposed to be and where the bed's gonna lay. Come May, and we were very close to have all the beds finished, as on the second weekend of May we planted all our young plants into the ground. All those beds which were closer to the forest are the new beds from this year. To be able to plant those young plants in May, we already started in January planting seeds into the earth and converting them to young plants. In February, we established our grow room, which helped us a lot to grow stronger and more resilient plants. And in March, a lot of them already left the house and were partially placed outside, but mainly in the greenhouse. We rapidly ran out of space and didn't have a place to put them, so we established a second floor. And here we are now in May, where those plants are ready to hit the ground. So we had our big planting party with a lot of people who helped us do so. I'm not getting tired of saying it. Without a lot of people helping us along the way, we wouldn't be where we are now. This can be very easily seen at this planting party which we had, where we converted our greenhouse from a young seedling school to a tomato greenhouse within one day. And over the last couple of months, we harvested more than 150 kilograms of tomatoes out of this very wonderful growing greenhouse. Although August was very hot and quite a challenge, especially for the tomatoes in the greenhouse, we hope to keep them around till October. Let's see what the weather has planned for us. While the greenhouse was thriving over the last couple of months, in May we also planted a couple of 100 plants in the market garden. Some of those plants grow really fast, so already in May we needed support sticks for them. Luckily, we had more than enough wood at hand. And over time, our plants grew. You could even say that some of them proliferated. And with the growth of the plants, also the amount of harvested crops raised over time. In the best weeks, we were able to harvest 100 kilograms of multiple crops in one day. One of the first big harvests that we had this year were our onions, and we were very pleased with that harvest, as last year our onions were quite a downer. And with mid-June or end July, we started to harvest weekly. And here you can see the process of one of those weeks. Although our season is not over yet, we will leave the market garden for now and have a look at other projects that we accomplished in this year. One of the biggest and most likely time-consuming project was a rebuild of 2 rooms. Formerly, one of those were a kitchen, and the other room could just be exited through that kitchen. So we ripped out everything that we didn't need anymore from the kitchen, including the tiles on the wall and the floor. Closed the openings of those 2 doors with bricks, created 2 new openings, and raised 2 walls that now separate those rooms. Although this looks so fast now in video, it took more than 400 to 500 hours. And we are pretty pleased with the result. Within this year, we had a lot of other smaller and larger projects. We built a workbench, a massive wood rack to store more wood inside the workshop, we digged a long trench and drilled a big hole through the wall of our basement for the fiber optic internet cable. We repaired our dam and had a visit from a Stumpy. Cut down firewood and prepared it for the winter time. Made shields for our market garden so that we could identify the beds. Built a lot of climbing aids for the different varieties of vegetables that we have, and still have the feeling that we don't have enough. Built horizontal and vertical climbing aids. Built a rack to store the vegetable that we harvest. Built a new table at the market garden for our young plants, which thanks to the snails we ended up using for other stuff than our young plants. Did a lot of changes to our irrigation system. Built a nice bench from some leftovers. Finally installed the last missing door on the market garden towards our pump, and so many more projects we have done this year. I for sure have forgot some. But as you know, before the party is after a party, and something broke at the party, so we started repairing it. As this bench is as old as Cutter, we made it the first project of the new ChaosHof year to repair it. Anna helped me out, drill out the old dowel holes, put in new ones, and then glue it all up together. And nearly as fast as it was broken, it was repaired. As one of the last projects from the old ChaosHof year, which we're gonna display a little bit more in detail, is our toilet door. First, we took apart the old door, which had been hanging there. It was always thought of as an interim door, as the wood, the large wood that we used for it, was not dried to the stage that we could use it for a real door. Now, with the wood dried, we took it apart and used it for the aerial fillings in the wood frames. As this may become a more of a permanent solution, for once, we first sorted through the wood and the pattern, in which way and also color distortion we wanted them to lay next to each other. Then we roughly cut them to size, put some dowels in them to keep them in place while gluing them up, and started the glue up process. We ended up building 2 of those boards, and both times when putting pressure from the sides on them, they bowed up a little bit. With a little help of some clamps, we got them flat again. And after every glue up, at least when I do them, there is some cleaning up I have to do. So first I like to plane it down when the rest of the glue is gone, and then sand it. Luckily I had some help when it came to that tedious task. And finally we were at the stage where we could fit everything together and glue it up. Off camera we already did a dry fit so that there shouldn't be any unpleasant surprises. Some final touches had to be made, like putting in the frame and some cleanup on the door itself, but here it is, our second somewhat professional made door in the house. And here we are at the end of this video, but also at the end of our second year on the farm. We have learned a lot and gained a lot of new friends, and to all of them, old, new, we want to say thank you for this unbelievable journey that you have helped us to create and to live every day. Hopefully we are allowed to live this experience many more years to come. Thanks to all of you.